Hey there, this is episode 20 of the Decompression Chamber. I'm your host, Mario, but you probably already knew that, except from this Mark Davis don who always keeps commenting and disliking, unfortunately. Anyway, opening quote is from Khalil Gibran. I don't know, I just found it on Instagram, but it is: "Our anxiety does not come from thinking about the future, but from wanting to control it." So roll the intro.
No doubt that I'll never be without my damn brain. Closed mouth, I'm clever and I know my damn shame. No cloud to the better, no one know my damn name. No bow, that shit what I guess we about to cascade.
Yeah, so that's pretty indicative of the state of mind I've been in recently. Feeling anxious, feeling a bit depressed, feeling good as well, feeling bad. You know, it's a bit of a emotional washing machine, I call it. You know, just everything getting jumbled around. But yeah, I think recently I felt like I haven't had much control in terms of like some external factors in my life. Obviously the main one being me wanting to go back to uni and staying here in Bristol seemingly for at least another month. Information ain't clear, but all I can do is just focus on what I'm doing here. Didn't mean that to rhyme, but hey. Yeah, so it's been a bit of a week, as every week is. Right now I'm working on this presentation that I've got to do for uni, which is about my professional development plan, which is, it's a bit strange really, having to chart out your professional like ambitions and like what you want to do in the future when I'm really just getting like my feet warm just in terms of being at uni, you know. Before going to uni for film, all I ever did was like A-level film studies, and I was just sitting in a classroom listening to some boring old teacher lecture me about films and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of strange thinking about what I want to do in the future, you know. I've always resented, you know, some parts of the film industry, how like you might think you have influence in a certain way, but then it can get ruined by something else, you know. Like I've always been scared of working in production, but then having people in pre-production and post-production who are, you know, so inept that they ruin my work, you know. I think going into film, you kind of have to accept a certain level that you're not in control. Just like my opening quote is like, you don't have a control over every single part of the machine, so you just have to focus on your job and hope that you do it right, you know. So kind of the areas that interest me are like cinematography, which is like camera, where you line it up, what are the shots used to tell the story, you know, and why. Also, I find sound interesting, you know. I don't have very good hearing, but sorry, that's quite unprofessional. Yeah, I don't have very good hearing, but last time that I worked on a project, me holding the boom pole, which is like the really long pole with a microphone at the end, I felt quite comfortable doing it, even though your shoulders kind of get tired after a while. Yeah, and I also really like lighting when it comes to film. I've been trying to rejig some of what I've been going on here. This light is a bit of a anomaly or something, but yeah, it just kind of is what it is. So at the moment I've just been thinking about what I want to do in the future, you know. I often use the example of Game of Thrones because in my opinion, particularly at the end of the show, the production quality is insane. So in terms of what people did when they showed up on set, got the actors in place, and the way that they filmed the show, it was really good. And like the costumes, you know, the set design, the acting, the cinematography, like all of it is done really, really well. But the problem is that the writers really shagged it in the last season. And if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, like, it's a bit of a bittersweet one, because in my opinion, like, seasons 2, 3 and 4 are like some of the best seasons in TV ever. But I'm someone who finds closure in stories really important. So having a bad final season really fucks it up for me. I'm the type of person where if I watch like a show, if I watch a couple of episodes, I will, you know, go all the way through with it. You know, I don't just want to watch one season, I want to watch all that the show has to offer. And that's kind of the same with films as well. Like, maybe if I'm 10 minutes in and I'm really not digging it, I'll jump out, but normally I won't even get invested unless I know it's something that I'm interested in, you know. So maybe that's indicative of something about me, but it's not something that I like to dwell on. But yeah, like, I don't even like watching films split up in time a lot. Like, if I watch a film, I want to just watch it all the way through in that sitting, you know, even though my attention span's so shit. Like, today we were recommended the film High and Low, I think it is, by Akira Kurosawa, who's like a super amazing, well-respected Japanese director. But it's 2 hours and 23, and like the kind of era that this film was made in, it's like the pacing is quite slow. So it's like almost I have to address it with a different like mind frame, because I feel like the way I've been like digesting media since I've grown up is very like fast return. It's instant gratification, you know. And so even like in terms of films, they're shot with more dynamic, like kind of quick cut editing, and it's built to kind of grab your attention quicker. Whereas kind of older films, because media was less intense and less diverse, you know, you could afford to just let a story play out slowly. So yeah, just kind of different for what you do, you know. But yeah, I mean, truth be told, I'm sick of this lockdown, just like anyone else is. I'm trying to work on my own creative projects right now. Last year I was working with a couple of friends who are really good at art. They asked me to help them like develop a story for this comic that they were thinking of doing, and we had some work going, but it kind of fell through. So I've just been trying to use that story as a means to practice script writing, because it's a craft I think I'd like to get better at. Yeah, so I'm trying to film a reel, just set up nice shots, but realistically, when I try and set up a nice shot of something just around where I am and what I'm doing, it's like you need a subject, really. You need something, and not often I'm comfortable with making that myself, even though, given that it's my reel, it has to feel kind of personal, you know. So that's something I'm grappling with at the moment. I'm hoping over the next few days I can get some nice shots together, just put them on a Google Drive, and then I'll let whoever of my friends like editing have access to it, and they can just have a crack at it, you know. I mean, I'll just have to see how that goes, but at least now I'm putting my foot forward. I'm not just like wallowing in my own despair. Despair's a bit dramatic, but I'm not wallowing in my own self-pity, at least, and I'm trying to give myself agency a bit, you know. I'm doing my schoolwork, even though today I've been a bit lazy with it. I'm doing my own positive creative work, and that's all I can do right now. Like, recently when I was feeling a bit flat, I used one of these post-it notes to I wrote it down on my wall. I just said, what would it take to make me happy, you know? What is something that what parameters do I need met in my life for me to be happy? And the more I thought about it, the more I realized pretty much all the parameters are already met, you know? I'm not particularly deficient in any part of my life. I think that just shows that I need to fix my perspective, fix my attitude, change my experience, you know. I always talk about that, but it's hard to change your perspective when you're spending a lot of time on just working on your own and wanting to be in a different space. Yeah, that's just wishful thinking though, you know. A lot of people have it worse than me, a lot of people have it better. You just have to be glad for where you are, you know. I have a lot to be grateful for, so yeah, I mean, something that I want to say is that full nights of sleep needs to be normalized, at least particularly in my sense. Like, I always let myself think like, oh, I got plenty of sleep last night, so I can take a couple hours less sleep tonight, but that's not really how your brain works, you know. I was listening to a podcast that said that being conscious, being awake through the day is low level brain damage. Your brain, like, because the energy it's using and how taxing that is on the resources of your body, unless you sleep adequately each night, you're not going to make up for the brain decay that you have over time. And apparently lack of sleep is a very high predictor for Alzheimer's, cancer and obesity over lots of demographics, so it's definitely something I'm going to focus on, you know. I like lying down, so sleeping can't be that difficult. But I only say this because the last video I filmed was like at 1 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. I was just caffeinated looking at memes. But yeah, I mean, I'm just hoping that the future I keep thinking of the future in a hopeful light. I hope that, you know, everyone around me is doing alright from what I can tell, so I can just hope that I can support them and they can support me. And yeah, all I can do is keep working and hope this stuff gets better. I mean, that's all we can all do, but yeah, I guess the takeaway from this is stuff's just kind of the same. And you can always do stuff to make stuff a bit better though. Like, even if it's just getting the ball rolling, you know, you never know where that might end up. And I've been kind of less consistent with these videos recently, but it's not necessarily a reflection of disinterest. It's just like sometimes I just don't feel like I have much to say, and it's not necessarily like I'm speaking Shakespeare's works right now, but I'm glad that I had the energy at least to get up, film this, and I hope you like the new outro as well, because I'm not wasting the opportunity. Like, putting sheets on my bed is long enough with 2 duvets. So anyway, I hope you have a good day, hope you have a good night, whatever, but stay cool, stay breezy.
So I drop the visor just to wake up. Ain't no tripping over pay stubs, ain't no tripping on the vague stuff. All the things that I can make up, I'm a thinker, not a maker. Wait. No gray area I see, never think about the consequences if you